Hey everyone, you are watching The Federal, and today we are breaking down a story that has suddenly taken over the Kerala election narrative in the final hours of the campaigning. It starts with a disaster, moves through relief promises, and now lands right in the middle of political controversy. What exactly is the Stand with Wayanad Fund? Who promised what? What has actually been delivered? And why is the Congress on the defensive right now? Stand with Wayanad fund collection carried out by the Congress was to help the 2024 landslide victims of Mundakai and Churalmala of Wayanad. But instead of a political advantage, the campaign has now put the Congress on the back foot with questions over delays, land, and the funds collected. Let's break this down. This story begins right after the disaster struck Wayanad. As rescue operations were still on, relief promises started coming in. The government rolled out its rehabilitation plan. Political parties across the spectrum stepped in with their own offers. The Congress announced it would build 100 houses. Then Rahul Gandhi added another 100. The Congress government in Karnataka said it would build another 100. That takes the broader Congress ecosystem promise to 300 houses. Then the Youth Congress came in with 30 more. That announcement came right after the DYFI said it would build 25 houses. So, very early on, you could see a kind of competition building around the relief activities. But the state government made one thing very clear. It said no private organization or political party would be allowed to build houses on the land identified for rehabilitation. Instead, anyone who wants to help can sponsor houses within the government project. The cost is fixed at 20 lakh per unit. The DYFI followed this model. They raised 20.49 crore rupees through campaigns across the state, including scrap collection drives from households, and handed over the money to support the government project to the CMDRF. Now, the IUML, which is part of the UDF, took a different route. They went ahead with their own housing project. So far, they have completed 51 houses, about half of what they originally promised. The rest of work is in progress. And importantly, they handed over the keys before the government did. In fact, 3 days before. The government function of handing over the keys was pushed from February 26th to March 1st of this year. At the same time, the government's own project is quite ambitious. A total of 410 houses are being built in a planned township near Kalpetta town. The idea is not just to give houses, but to create a proper living space for families who lost everything. Now comes the Congress part of the story. Their plan had visibility, it had momentum. There was even a digital app to raise funds. But on the ground, things slowed down. The main issue? Land. Congress leaders say they expected the government to provide land. The Revenue Department denies this. They say no such request was formally made in the all party meeting held to discuss rehabilitation. So, while the government and the IUML were moving ahead, the Congress was still trying to get its project off the ground. By the time the houses were being completed and keys handed over by others, the Congress had only managed to lay foundation stones. Even months after that, construction had not really started. That's when the big question came up: where is the money? The question quickly turned into a major political controversy. Senior Congress leaders, including KC Venugopal and KPCC President Sunny Joseph, came forward with an explanation, though a bit delayed. They said the party collected a total of just over 5.38 crores. To be precise, 5 crore 38 lakh 21,632 rupees. They also said the money was kept in a Dhanalakshmi bank account, ensuring transparency, which was the question raised by the CPIM, and others. Then they gave a breakup. In the first phase, 3.25 acres of land was bought for 3.68 crore. Out of this, 1.05 crore came from the Youth Congress. In the second phase, 2.18 acres was bought for 2.5 crore. On top of that, 97 lakh rupees from the KPCC funds was also used. But this explanation by the KPCC president did not add up. The controversy didn't end there. The CPIM is now questioning these numbers. They point to social media posts by the donors and earlier claims by the Congress leaders, which suggested a much larger collection. Their argument is simple: the numbers don't seem to match the scale of the campaign. And there's another twist. Some victims who had earlier taken 15 lakh rupees as government aid and opted out of the official rehabilitation project for the UDF projects are now saying they are ready to return that money and join the government housing project. In fact, the township near Kalpetta is getting good feedback, especially for its design and facilities of a modern township. So, where does this leave us? At one level, this is about relief and rehabilitation after a disaster. But at another level, it has clearly become a political issue. Competing models, competing claims, and now questions of funds. As election campaigning ends, one thing stands out. Beyond the promises and the politics, what really matters is delivery. How many houses get built, how quickly people can move in, and how well Wayanad rebuilds its future. And one more thing, even within the Congress, there is a growing sense that this could have been handled better. The party had the resources, it had two towering leaders with a direct connect with Wayanad: Rahul Gandhi, the former MP, and Priyanka Gandhi, the sitting MP. Karnataka, Wayanad's immediate neighbor, is also ruled by the Congress. Yet, despite announcing 100 houses, the Karnataka government has so far delivered only about half of it, according to the Kerala Revenue Minister. All of this adds to the perception gap. The result? The Congress now finds itself on the defensive at a crucial moment. What was meant to be a show of solidarity has turned into an election time embarrassment, with opponents pushing it as a key issue in the final hours of campaigning.